there's a whole bunch of Rangers that are available for the All-Star ballot. And I'll go ahead and list those off, starting with your first baseman, Nathaniel Lowe. Okay? He's available there. You also have, what am I doing?
Your second baseman, Simeon.
Yeah, your second baseman, Simeon, of course. You have shortstops available for you as well. You got Corey Seager, who can be voted for, right? Obviously. Let me see, who else do you have? Because, of course, my
third base, you got Josh Smith.
Yes, you are. Josh Smith. Josh H. Smith. Never forget the H. Josh Harris Smith. Got to make sure to give him his proper respect, his proper due. Adolis Garcia as outfielder, obviously available to you. Who am I forgetting? Leody Taveras also available to you. Evan Carter in there available to you.
You got Jonah Heim.
Jonah Heim as a catcher, of course, available to you. And Josh Young is listed as a DH, I guess, because he doesn't qualify as a third baseman yet because he hasn't played enough games at third base because he's been injured. So with that being the case, right, we have all of those guys available to you. Let's go ahead and rank your All-Star available players all the way down.
Let's do it. I think the guy that comes to me first that I would have the highest vote for when it comes to those position players,
the one that you just can't leave off, the one that you absolutely need to make sure is an All-Star.
I think it's got to be out this recent surge of kind of being the best hitter in baseball in the last month. It's got to be Corey Seager.
Yeah,
it's really slow start, but All-Star is all about timing, and he's been, if not the hottest, one of the hottest batters in the Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, and look, just off of the kind of nebulous thought of what kind of player is an All-Star, Corey Seager's the best player on his team. Like, he's always been considered in that space, and that's why it hurt so much that he was having that tough time to get his season started. Obviously, coming off the injury, not really getting a spring training, jumping in immediately and trying to give you everything that he could. You can absolutely see what he is and how he has been over the last, 10, 12 games of baseball, even longer if we're going to be completely honest. He's found his stride, and he looks like the Corey Seager that you anticipate. In fact, and look, that's not how the All-Star works. It works off of the season that you have, right? But if you take that back and you look at all that prior where he was struggling, that almost doesn't feel like Corey Seager. This is Corey Seager, and this is the one that we know, and he's playing like an All-Star. I'm with you. That feels like the guy that has to be the number one pick if you're talking about your All-Star eligible players for the Rangers. He feels like the dude that you have.
Now, where do you want to go with the second pick? I think you can go different avenues. Marcus Semien started off as like top 3 in MVP and was really hot and has simmered down. Josh Smith has been progressively getting better. Josh H. Smith has been progressively getting better. Adolis Garcia started hot but has simmered down. Where are you looking at for that second spot that you think deserves it the most?
And this is going to be more anecdotal, but hasn't it felt like Josh H. Smith has been super vital and valuable to what you're doing this season? It almost feels kind of sacrilege to not immediately go to Marcus Semien, though, right? Marcus Semien, just the steady guy, always there, always working, leading off. I mean, just had a leadoff homer a couple days ago, right? Like he feels like he's steady, but I don't know. It feels like the impact that Josh Smith has had on this team has been huge. Defensively also, because Josh Young, there's a lot of J's on this team. Josh Young had been so good defensively. He had been so helpful for you in your lineup, and losing him to injury, you almost worried that you were going to, lose that impact. And Josh Smith has been a nice facsimile of what he gave you. And maybe this is just me trying to find a way to appreciate what he did, but I feel like Josh Smith is a guy that I'd go to.
Yeah, Josh Smith, if you're not counting Justin Foscue and Josh Young, who played 6 combined games, he leads the team in batting average at a 290. He's been doing all the things for you. He's not like the biggest power hitter in the world, but just consistently gets on base, gives you good at-bats, and I think has been really pivotal for the Rangers. He leads the team on base percentage at a 377. So I think Josh Smith Josh H. Smith has been very pivotal. I think he can get that second vote, and I think that slots Semien into that third spot.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's almost wild that I waited this long. We can't not acknowledge what Marcus Semien is, just in being a stalwart, a mainstay, and of course a everyday leadoff hitter. Semien's the easy third there. Now, once you get there, is there any other ones that you want to go with?
If I'm being unbiased, I don't know if another Ranger deserves.
Oh wow! So you're ready to be done voting at this point?
I'm going to vote for them.
No, but I understand. Like I understand what you're trying to say.
And I would say other guys maybe deserve it more. I love Adolis, and he's still leading the team in RBIs and hasn't got a hit, it feels like, in forever. But if we're being honest, it hasn't been the strongest season from Garcia, and you've got a lot of outfielders you're competing with. Maybe you can make a case for Jonah Heim. It feels like at this point now I'm kind of reaching. I'm getting letting my bias get in if I start voting in guys like that.
I think Nathaniel Lowe is an interesting place to go. All right, now, yeah, I think you're right. Like at this point, we're starting to stretch. But if we are going to stretch, right? How much does like Jonah Heim's general defense? I know he's 251 batting average and 668 OPS, which I mean that has become kind of the general number, the immediate statistic that you go to when you're looking at a player. But the ways in which you have had a rotation that's come in and constantly continue to be able to do what they do, I think is in no small part because of Jonah Heim and his steady hand behind the plate and the way that he calls a game. Like if we were going to go to a guy, that feels like one that you probably want to appreciate, right?
Yeah. Jonah Heim is such a great catcher, and I wouldn't want anyone else behind the plate for the Texas Rangers. He means so much to this team, especially his framing. He does a lot of good things for this team. But I mean, he's had his ups and downs. It's hard for me to vote three other Rangers. I think that to me, if I only had 3 votes, it would be those 3 guys, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th guys, it would feel like just I'm going off historical data. I'm going out because they're good Rangers.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, Garcia's a really good player for us. He's leading us in RBIs. Vote him in. And I wouldn't be mad if he was in. I wouldn't think he's like some undeserving player. Oh my gosh, how did he make it in? But if he didn't make it, I bet it makes sense.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at any of the other dudes, I think Lowe, I think Adolis Garcia, and those guys have OPS pluses over 100, so I guess they're technically above average in that instance. And then Heim, who is his OPS plus is 91, which is below average, but the defense that he typically brings behind the plate, if we factor those in, those are the other guys that maybe I'd consider in that place. But
give me Jared Walsh in his first series.
First series, Jared Walsh. You are a Rangers All-Star. Yeah.